Today, I'm going to show you a romantic drama film called Three Iron. The movie begins with the protagonist, Tae-suk, driving a motorbike through an unknown neighborhood. He's seen taping takeout menus on the front doors of houses around that area. As he goes from one house to another, a garage door from one of the houses opens slowly. It just so happens to be the house that he had parked his motorbike in front of. As he removes his bike to make way for the car, a man inside gives Tae-suk an unapproving look as he passes by. Tae-suk drives off, returning to what seems like one of the areas he might have visited, as his flyers are seen scattered everywhere. He climbs up the stairs to a building, where there are more flyers scattered around. Then he stops in front of a door that still has a takeout menu flyer taped on it, even though it was taped right over the keyhole. Next, he takes out his toolbox and proceeds to unlock the door. He manages to get inside, and the first thing he does is play the answering machine on the landline, like it's his second nature. We learn that the house belongs to a family of three. Tae-suk goes around exploring the apartment, looking into different rooms. Ultimately, he goes inside the bathroom, where he brushes using the family's used toothbrush. After he's done with his shower, he puts on their clothes from the cupboard and eats their food. He finds a toy gun in their son's room, fixes it, and pops a bunch of balloons hanging from the ceiling. He also snaps some selfies with their possessions and proceeds to flip through the channels on their TV. Tired, he passes out on the sofa while the TV is still running. The next morning, Tae-suk gathers clothes lying around the house and washes them. Just when he's done putting them out to dry, he sees the family returning from their trip. As the family enters the apartment squabbling with each other, Tae-suk is seen driving off in his motorbike. He returns to the house where the man had given him an unapproving look. This house is bigger, better, and more lavish than the previous one. He explores around the same, but fails to discover that there's a woman who has a black eye and other wounds still inside the house. There are portraits of the woman, Sun-hwa, around the house, and also an album with her pictures. As Tae-suk is flipping through it, the telephone rings and there's a man on the other end who is seemingly angry at someone who is not picking up the call. Unbothered, Tae-suk goes about his routine, where he takes a selfie with Sun-hwa's portrait, cooks, eats, cleans up around the house, and washes their clothes, all while being unaware of the fact that he's being watched by Sun-hwa. Then, he also practices some golf, fixes the weighing machine, all while still being watched by her. Later that night, when Tae-suk is getting off to Sun-hwa's pictures, she appears before him. Just then, the telephone rings, and the man from earlier who is still angry threatens her to pick up the call. She does so, but remains silent. As Tae-suk waddles out, she lets out a loud scream and hangs up the call. Tae-suk leaves, but decides to return. He puts on a song and leaves a dress outside the bathroom for Sun-hwa, who is crying in her bath. Tae-suk watches from afar as she puts on the dress. Sun-hwa's husband, Min-kyu, happens to return right at this moment. Tae-suk, to catch his attention, starts practicing golf in the yard. Min-kyu comes out threatening to call the police, but Tae-suk buffets him with golf balls, and then he leaves with Sun-hwa following behind him. As they drive off in the darkness of night, Tae-suk and Sun-hwa begin a silent relationship. They move from one apartment to another, with Tae-suk occasionally practicing hitting golf balls by drilling holes into them and securing the cords with a knot around the bases of tree trunks. In the first empty apartment, there's also a portrait of Sun-hwa, since she's a famous model. The next morning, Sun-hwa is found washing the homeowner's clothes just like Tae-suk, and later when he's taking selfies like usual, she joins in. The next house they take shelter in belongs to a couple who are on a honeymoon in Hawaii. Later, while fixing a sound system, Sun-hwa hands Tae-suk a pair of scissors to cut off some of her hair. Then, they take selfies wearing the husband's boxing gloves and with his trophies. Sun-hwa finds a bottle of wine in a cupboard, and moments later they pass out after drinking. But unfortunately, they are quickly caught by the returning owners, sleeping in their bed while wearing their pajamas. The male homeowner, a boxer, repeatedly punches Tae-suk. Nowhere to spend the night, the couple resides outside a convenience store, and Tae-suk practices hitting a golf ball tied to a tree. But the ball breaks loose from his cord, breaking through the windshield of a nearby car and brutally striking the car's passenger in her head. Tae-suk is covered in guilt and runs off. A crying Tae-suk is then comforted by Sun-hwa. The next night, the couple carry out their routine and break into a traditional Korean house called hanok. They sit quietly, drink tea, and share a warm kiss. The next morning, they set out on their path to an old shabby apartment complex. They later enter an apartment where they discover the dead body of an elderly man who still has his pet dog by his side. They discover that the rest of the family is on a trip to Jeju Island. They proceed to give him a proper burial, wrapping the dead body in a clean cloth and cleaning out the blood. The son of the dead man calls back, but they ignore him. The next day, the elderly man's son and daughter-in-law arrive at the apartment. He assumes that Tae-suk and Sun-hwa killed him. The duo is then apprehended and interrogated by police, who find all their selfies in Tae-suk's camera. However, Tae-suk remains silent, even after a substantial beating, as Sun-hwa watches from outside. Later, Tae-suk confesses to burying the old man near the apartment complex, and the son breaks down on finding his dad's body. Tae-suk's camera is confiscated, and the owners of the home seen in the photos on the camera are contacted, one of them being Sun-hwa's husband, Min-kyu. As Tae-suk is being interrogated, Min-kyu arrives to take Sun-hwa home and throws golf balls at Tae-suk as soon as he sees him. The police learn that nothing was stolen from any of the houses, but ponder why he does so even though he has a college degree. And an investigation also reveals that the old man died of lung cancer. Sun-hwa is still displeased to return home, even though Min-kyu cares for her favorite plant and pretends to be sweet to her. He even apologizes for his past behavior. When Sun-hwa doesn't reciprocate, Min-kyu gets frustrated and bribes the policeman in charge of the investigation to allow him to throw golf balls at Tae-suk. The policeman leaves Tae-suk under a remote bridge where Min-kyu is ready with golf balls. The policemen watch from afar as Min-kyu continues to buffet Tae-suk. Angry, Tae-suk ends up attacking the police officer and is sent to jail. There, he practices golf with an imaginary club and balls. When an inmate laughs at him, Tae-suk ends up attacking him too and is sent into isolation. There, he develops his gifts for stealth and concealment, frustrating his jailers by remaining out of sight. Back at home, things haven't gotten any better between Sun-hwa and Min-kyu. Frustrated, Min-kyu provokes her by touching her. When she's visibly angry at this, Min-kyu slaps her. Without hesitation, Sun-hwa slaps him back and leaves the room, leaving Min-kyu bewildered. When a frustrated guard finds Tae-suk hanging on a small latch above the door, he gives him a light beating that does not affect him. Instead, Tae-suk keeps smiling. Sun-hwa goes back to the hanok, where she and Tae-suk had shared their first kiss. She proceeds silently past a man to sleep on the same sofa. The man's wife returns to wake Sun-hwa, but he insists her not to. Later, a peaceful Sun-hwa wakes from her nap to see the couple tending to their garden and bids them goodbye. At the prison, Tae-suk continues to torment the guard walking behind him. Angry, the guard strikes him down, but Tae-suk is still smiling. He's honed his skill of stealth very much as the camera pans frantically around searching for him. Sun-hwa waits for Tae-suk, which Min-kyu realizes and suggests moving. When the guard brings Tae-suk his meal, he's able to outmaneuver the guard and beat him up. Sun-hwa also has retained her habit of manually washing the clothes, even though they own a washing machine. Next, Tae-suk is released from prison. Sometime later, someone is seen stalking the policeman who had offered Tae-suk up to Min-kyu and bashes him down with golf balls. We see someone going through all the houses Tae-suk and Sun-hwa had stayed at. The boxing couple is bickering about the husband's affair, and the couple who own hanok continue tending to their garden. And even though the homeowners feel the unknown presence, they fail to locate the person behind it. An unknown man is in one of the apartments and is calling his girlfriend. When she arrives, they feel the presence once again. Upon investigating, they find that Sun-hwa's picture in one of the frames is gone, and suddenly, the lights go out. Min-kyu learns that Tae-suk has been released from the prison and prepares himself in case he returns for Sun-hwa. With his improved stealth, Tae-suk is once again reunited with Sun-hwa in her house. He also uses his skills to evade Min-kyu's direction, who also feels Tae-suk's presence. He searches for Tae-suk around the house with a golf club, but fails to find anyone. Sun-hwa sees Tae-suk's shadow outside the door, but remains silent until Min-kyu is seemingly in deep sleep. As she goes around searching the house, Tae-suk appears behind her while she's looking at the mirror. After a few moments, Min-kyu comes out of the room again with his golf club, only to find Sun-hwa alone. Tae-suk is gone, and Min-kyu asks what she's up to. Sun-hwa appears to say, "I love you" to Min-kyu, confusing him at first, but then he embraces her seconds later. while still in Min-kyu's embrace, who is happy at Sun-hwa's turn of emotion. She kisses Tae-suk over his shoulder. They share a passionate kiss, which Min-kyu fails to notice. The next morning, Sun-hwa prepares breakfast. Min-kyu comes out to eat, but is unaware that Tae-suk is following right behind him. Tae-suk easily fools Min-kyu with his stealth, as the three of them enjoy the breakfast. Tae-suk and Sun-hwa glance and smile at each other, but Min-kyu still fails to notice Tae-suk behind him. He's happy believing that Sun-hwa is smiling at him. When Min-kyu leaves on a business trip, Tae-suk plays their song in the same sound system. Sun-hwa searches for him, but cannot find him. She realizes Tae-suk is behind her and corners him into a wall. In the last scene of the movie, Tae-suk and Sun-hwa stand together on a scale and share another kiss. A text then appears reading, "It's hard to tell whether the world we live in is either a reality or a dream." Thanks for watching. If you fancy more recaps, check out this video now.